Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the movie The Dead Don't Die, and I on-demand this from, Xfinity. It was going to be going off at, incidentally enough, around Halloween time, so I'm like, okay, I've seen this on the movie channels a little bit, but I wanted to sit down and actually watch it. And I don't think it's very good. I didn't really enjoy my time with this movie. I had to look up what the kind of objective was for this, and evidently it's supposed to be like a parody of all these zombie movies, and it just has everything kind of thrown into it. And I don't really think it really works that well as a parody. It's more of a parody of making a movie and doing the movie, because towards the end we get real meta stuff where Adam Driver's talking about actually reading the script with Bill Murray, and it's like, what? Because we got all these different kind of things of what's going on, what's bringing the zombies back to life. Toxic lunar radiation, fracking at the poles has screwed up the axis of the Earth, and now we've got daylight and darkness all at weird intervals, kind of following like the comet thing that makes zombies and all that. And we don't really know what the objective is of the zombies in this movie. Is it supposed to say anything? Is it not supposed to say anything? Is it supposed to just be fuck all what? And the thing is, I don't think it's really down to the execution and the dialogue. All the actors in here are good actors. They are really not given fuck all to work with here, and it takes forever to really get into what we're trying to do here. This, I think, fails as a parody, whereas a movie like Kung Pao Under the Fist, which I do really need to do one for that one, because that's like one of my standards. That's a movie that's got a lot of bad reviews, but that's a reason, because it is doing its best to be one of those bad kung fu movies and executes it fucking perfectly. It's the difference between making a bad film accidentally and being like, I think this is good, and making a bad film intentionally and understanding why you're making it that bad film and what kind of goes into making that film. This, it just takes forever to really kind of get into the zombies and the plotting and everything that kind of goes on with it, because the plotting is very thin. It's like we're in this Centerville, USA kind of place, and then we just start seeing that Bill Murray's character, Cliff, and Adam Driver's character, Ronnie, are going out to this Bob the Hermit dude who this Farmer Frank said stole his chickens, and he's like, fuck off, dude, and evidently has a gun and shoots at him, and this Bob dude is just pretty much like narrating shit throughout the film and just pretty much hiding in the woods and doing his shit as everything starts going to hell. It's like, alright, what? Okay, let's see what kind of goes on. So we see that like Adam Driver's pretty much saying, I've got a feeling this is going to end pretty badly, pretty much linking us back up as we get towards the end and saying that he read the script and that we're going to pretty much die. So he's just been saying that throughout the whole fucking film. They're pretty much getting back into the place, asking if Vinny needs anything. Of course, it's daylight hours when it should be nighttime, and it's kind of fucked up. Let's see. And then, of course, we start getting the stuff about polar fracking and fucking everything up as we see Danny Glover pretty much in this diner. Yeah, we got Danny Glover, Steve Buscemi, a lot of different kind of people in here. Iggy Pop is a zombie, which is actually pretty cool. But it's not worth the time and effort, because it's under 2 hours, but you're like, alright, so we're trying to figure out what's going on. They keep repeating this stuff about the solar fracking, and everybody talking about all these kind of things, and pretty much talking and giving us other kind of stuff. Like, Adam Driver's like, oh yeah, this Sturgis dude, he does the theme of the song, The Dead Don't Die. It's like, wow, there's like being subtle with something and then smacking someone over the head with it. It's just like, alright, this is going to be annoying, isn't it? It's like, yep. We, of course, get the young teens of like Selena Gomez, this Austin Butler dude, and this other guy driving pretty much like a car from like a Romero movie, and talking to this dude who's pretty much a zombie kind of dude, Bobby. We got Riz in here for some reason that delivers shit to this dude. It's like, alright, Like, there's not really that much done to connect all these characters at all. Our main focused ones are to pretty much follow Cliff and Ronnie and Mindy, the local law enforcement, and then Zelda, this who's played by Tilda Swinton, who's like a undertaker with a samurai sword, and then we find out she's an alien and gets put back up in the mothership at pretty much the end of the movie. It just comes out of nowhere for fuck all reason. It just... You know when you see someone trying to, like, do something and just be like, oh yeah, look at this shit. It's like, alright, but it really doesn't add anything. I'm like, yeah, congratulations. It's out of nowhere. I don't give a shit because I don't care about these characters. Nothing really just gets me invested in any of the characters. We pretty much see these characters with their dialogue that just really provides nothing for me. Now, if you enjoyed this movie, I have no problem with that. I could get loving the actors and everything. You also get a Star Wars reference for Adam Driver because he had like a Star Destroyer keychain. But it just looked like a zombie fan doing a zombie film with all these other kind of zombie elements from different kind of genres in this zombie film field, and just didn't stop to connect the stuff, connect the dots, make the characters work well, and have a pretty coherent plot. It's just like, oh, okay, Earth got fucked up, here's these zombies. We also have these kids in this like correctional institution that are just expounding shit and then pretty much deal with the shit going on and then escape. And then it's like, alright. We see the law enforcement trying to like help the town as the zombie apocalypse starts kind of going nutty, because at first we see it going on at the diner. We see animals kind of just acting like, what the fuck's kind of going on here? We see Bob expounding upon what's kind of going on and doing the usual kind of stuff that you would see in certain zombie movies. Let's see. And then pretty much everybody starts dying. And how the world's kind of fucked up. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can kind of get that, but I don't know what the objective of this movie was. Like, it's not really clear when you're watching it what it wants to be. Is this supposed to be a complete comedy? Poking fun at all of these zombie kind of things? Is it supposed to be serious? What kind of balance is going on with this? Because it seemed serious, like, it would seem serious, and then we would have certain kind of stuff, like, Adam Driver's character said something about, like, being really into Mexicans or whatnot. And I'm like, what? What the fuck? It was just oddly out of nowhere in relation to, like, Selena Gomez's character, and I'm just like, alright. And evidently this is a place that only has one diner, and the waitress, even though she would, like, I mean, sure, it's a gruesome murder, but, like, if you've only got one place to eat in the town, and it wasn't the cook or whatnot that was killed, because we had the two ladies killed there, and then it starts going kind of nutty doo-dah. We see the zombies pretty much like reenacting things that they did in their life, Iggy Pop and the others going for like coffee and all that, things that meant much to them, but it's surface level. It's stuff that was done in other zombie movies, but it has nothing to say here other than, here, this is a thing that was in there. Yeah. I'm like, okay, and what am I supposed to do with this information? We see Danny Glover's character and the Bobby dude get taken out pretty much at the hardware store, and we pretty much get Cliff and Ronnie going at the end, doing a fighting kind of thing, and then getting eaten and killed. I really didn't care. And that's the kind of thing. It didn't feel like a complete and utter waste of time, but it was very close for me on this. I really wouldn't recommend this because it doesn't really say anything on its own. Like, there's paying homages to certain kind of genres and whatnot, and putting your own kind of spin, but there's nothing of that really done here. If you asked me to say what this director is attempting to say here with this film, I can't tell you that. Like, I can tell you that they really like zombie movies and that they put all the stuff that they like from zombie movies in this zombie movie. That's pretty much it. And, like, there's not even really doing anything that shows why they loved zombie movies. If that makes sense. At least I cannot discern that from this. If you can and you get enjoyment from that and everything, that's cool. That's awesome. That's kind of why I do these, to have these kind of conversations, because I would be like, if you're into plot, world building, character development, I wouldn't recommend this at all. It's mainly down to the archetypes of the zombie genre and what actors they could get to do these kind of roles. And I just felt that everyone was pretty much underutilized. You don't really get much from the teen group, which is kind of par the course for these kind of horror movies, even the ones that this is pretty much kind of parodying. But that doesn't mean that you can't have fun with it or do something in your own kind of style for it. Like, I can tell you the difference between a Romero movie and the Zack Snyder remake of, like, Dawn of the Dead. There are vast differences that go on with that and what their kind of objectives are for what's going on with the zombies. Or a Romero movie and 28 Days Later. How that kind of works out. What the zombies and everything are kind of saying for that. And any kind of other zombie genre. I like zombie movies and everything like that. I like The Walking Dead with the comics, and to a certain extent when the show was pretty much doing what it needed to do and then just going off the fucking rails. And that's why I kind of hold a kind of higher standard for certain kind of things. Now, granted, that doesn't mean everything has to be top tier, top notch, firing at all cylinders. I love it when that's going on. But I just expect more, instead of just be like, here is a piece of bread. I'm like, okay, it's a piece of bread. I can go and find all different kind of ones that have a specific kind of style. Why should I be interested in your piece of bread? Because it's bread. Did you do anything special to it? Do you love making bread? Did you put your heart and soul into it? Because that, even if you make just like plain bread, like plain old white bread, if you make it because you love it and you do certain processes with it, that's awesome. And you can tell that from the product. But with this, I'm just like, okay, it's a zombie film. But there's a lot of other zombie films that I would have more enjoyment from. Even, like there's so bad it's good kind of zombie films where you're like, this is fucking stupid. You can at least, those, when you've got the objective and you're like, listen, I want to make a zombie movie. They're not going to let me do this kind of stuff all the time. I'm going to shoot my shot. This is probably going to suck shit, but I'm a rock with this motherfucker. And do like crazy stupid thing, letting them ham this shit up, understanding what product you're making. Yeah. This didn't work for me. Now, granted, that could be down to the objective of the film and the humor for it, because there's a lot of things that I don't find humorous, and I'm just like, yeah, this didn't work for me. And there's other things that I find fucking hilarious where I'm trying to relay it in a review and I'm laughing my ass off just even thinking about it. Its humor did not connect with me. It just did not. I didn't find it funny at all. I was bored. Now, if you found it funny, cool, awesome. Get that enjoyment. This just... I also didn't really even connect really much with the characters. There were also kind of attempts where, like, Cliff's character would be like, I should have retired 2 years ago. And Ronnie's like, why didn't you? And then we just don't fucking go for it. Zelda asks about if Mindy and Ronnie are going out, and that just leaves that. It's almost the perfunctory stuff of like, certain kind of plot things and certain kind of character reactions, and then nothing is done with it. That is the thing that perplexes me the most about this film. I've had other ones that have been pretty much where I'm like, yeah, this completely and utterly wasted my time. I want out. I would go back and scrub it and just be done, mind wipe, get that time back. This is a good one for me where I'm like, okay, I understand why I don't like this and what, and getting into the nuts and bolts of why it's kind of going on, even though I don't really have that much to kind of go on for it, because even the zombie effects, they weren't horrendous, but it was kind of them just doing the same kind of zombie stuff, and then when you would kill them or chop their heads off, it would be dust, even if they were freshly killed. It's kind of weird. But that's about it for it. None of the zombie effects were really that interesting or set it apart from anything else that I'd seen, not like Romero or Zack Snyder's with Dawn of the Dead or any kind of other, or 28 Days Later. Like, I would just say that it's a generic kind of zombie film, and just kind of be done with it. So I really wouldn't recommend this, having it on in the background. If you're a fan of Bill Murray or Adam Driver, I really wouldn't recommend this. I mean, it's not because they did bad, but they are completely and utterly wasted here. I don't even know how a lot of these big names were put into this one, to be honest with you. Because there's not much for him to do. And I've seen him do better, and I'm like, I would really like to see a better zombie film with all these people in it. But that's how it kind of goes. So I really wouldn't recommend this because there's really nothing much plot-wise, nothing much character-wise, and it just... there's better movies out there, in my opinion. But if you enjoyed this, I'm glad you did, and I hope you had a great time with it. So those are my opinions on the movie. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.